Welcome to the 40s Lounge. As usual, my name is Danny Boy, son of Nebere the Great One. There has never been and there shall never be. And today on our show, I'm hosting Agoro. Agoro, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing very fine. Thank you very much for welcoming me to the show today.
I like your watch.
Yeah, it's a Philippe Patek.
Philippe Patek. Tell us more about Philippe Patek.
Philippe Patek is a very big company that does watches specifically, but many people focus on Rolex. I'll tell you about Philippe Patek more after the show.
Let's discuss on today's topic. We want to discuss about organizational change.
Yes.
As an experienced corporate guy,
Yeah.
what do you have to say about organizational change?
Actually, organizational change is a systematic process that involves transition or transformation of an organization's people, the processes, the system, and at times the technology. So it's a wide thing.
And you know, sometimes, Agoro, people are scared of change. And there's someone who said that the only thing that does not change is change itself. Now, especially if a company is going through that kind of changes, most of the time you'll find that the employees will get scared. Do you think that there is any reason when such changes are happening in an organization that there is need for anybody to be scared?
I'll answer yes and no. People will always be afraid of something that they've not experienced before.
All right.
So that is normal. It's a human nature. But if well planned and articulated, you can transition very smoothly without affecting people. Because as a new manager, probably in an organization, you might come with policies that staff feel are a bit heavy to them. For example, the staff, you might want to add a few hours.
All right.
To the staff working hours, so that the organization can be propelled ahead.
All right.
And the staff might feel squeezed with that decision, but it is something that the organization needs to do to go ahead. Before, people used to work Monday to Friday.
All right.
These days, most organizations work Monday to Saturday, half day.
Okay.
It was not easy to accept it as employees, but they had to. See, now that's why our economy as Kenya is growing.
Wow.
Because we work harder, we work longer hours. We're heading to the direction of Japan. I hear in Japan people only sleep for 4 hours.
They only sleep for what?
For 4 hours.
They must be zombies. Now, let me ask you something before we go to talk about the demerits. Yes. I want us to focus on the benefits. But we look at some of the corporates in Kenya, because that's where we are. Some of them, when they went through those transitional changes in terms of leadership, there are a lot of things that happened. For instance, and let's not be scared to mention this, Kenya Airways has gone through a lot of challenges in terms of changeovers.
Yes.
All right? Now, we'll not focus on that, but we look at a company like Safaricom. It has continued to grow even with the change of leadership. And so I would wish that in this first part of this show, you just highlight on the benefits of organizational change and why it is necessary sometimes.
Okay, I would say Safaricom was successful because of the prior planning.
Okay.
There is a model that is used in proper operational change.
Okay.
and that is what Safaricom adopted. There's an acronym for it.
It's called?
It's called DICE.
DICE.
Duration, integrity, commitment, and then effort.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that kindly?
Yeah, I can do that. I can
right.
just summarize. The first D means the duration. How long is this process going to take?
Just let's hold on to that thought. We want to take a short break, and we shall continue with that after the break. Thank you.
All right.
Welcome back. Agoro here.
Yes.
The new CEO of Uvumbi was trying to illuminate us, educate us on DICE. Carry on. What were you saying?
Okay. I was saying an organization has to look at the duration that the change will be effected and it picks up. It's a roadmap. How do you get from point A to point B? So you have to look at the duration. And you should not be in a hurry as an organization to change the management, the staff, maybe the technology, because it can be too much overwhelming and the end result will be you walking on thin ice.
Now, the people, especially, let's just look at some of the local examples we've had on changeovers. I'm looking at a company like Shell. It has gone through leadership changes a couple of times. And I remember one of those times, the guys who are at the top management, and rather this is what most people in top management fear about the leader vacating the seat, because they know that they will be given a retrenchment or a retirement, early retirement, because it is assumed that when a new leader comes in, most of the time he will try to change his immediate top management so that he can bring people he can trust. Do you think that that is a good idea or it's a bad idea?
Being in a rush to replace people will ultimately crumble the operations, the daily operations of the organization.
Okay.
From this angle, the manager knows the nitty-gritties. He knows probably you deal with suppliers, you deal with clients. He has all those details. So if you change the manager without a proper changeover, then that new manager will have a very hard time adapting to the organization. Don't you think so?
Because most of the time you'll find that most CEOs, when they're leaving other companies, they have people they've been working with that they believe in, and they think this person will be competent in a certain area. And so based on probably the success or the failure of the company to be able to take over, he will feel, or rather she will feel, it will be prudent to be able to surround himself or herself with people that he has worked with and tested, and so they can be competent to be able to continue functioning or to be able to replace the guys who have been there under the old leadership.
Okay, it depends on how the CEO operates. You know, the head determines the direction of the company. If the CEO or the head feels that the management is not okay, he can take time and do a diagnosis of what went wrong, what was happening, or what can he do better.
Okay.
Get the strengths and weaknesses of the people on the ground, the people below him. Get to understand the operations and how the system works.
All right.
Before he makes those critical decisions. Because some of those critical decisions he can't make on his own. He'll have to involve the board. So you do so many things. You do risk analysis. If you do an if then else scenario.
All right.
If I do this, then this will happen.
And now, aside now from the top management, do you think that sometimes there is any cause of fear when there is a change of leadership? Because politically speaking, you'll find that most of the time, if someone leaves the big house, the new guy who's coming in has to clean up the house so that he can be able to stamp his authority and things like that.
I think when you're comfortable in a position,
all right,
and stay long with someone, there's some familiarity that develops. So you don't know the nature of this new person, that is coming in. So it's just natural for you to shrink a bit, and if your house is not in order, of course you'll have some panic, but there's no need for that. If the new CEO that is coming is someone who understands the corporate world well, you should not be scared. And if you're doing your job right. You can only be scared if you had some fishy business going down inside the organization. Yes, so there's no need to be scared if everything was okay. The second aspect was integrity. You look at the integrity of the employees. How faithful are they to the company? All right. You can have employees that have been there, probably even in finance, and they've been chopping off the money, and that's why the company was not growing. Right. So you have to look at all those aspects. And for a big organization, you'll have to call in an external organization. It will be like an auditor organization to audit not only the finance side, but also the human resource side. Yes. So you see, it's a process.
All right. Wow, that has been quite insightful.
And then there's commitment. How committed are the employees? Are they the employees that just wait for the 5 o'clock on the dot, even if they have not finished their jobs, they run away? Or they want to propel the company to the next level and give in extra hours, even if you're not paying overtime, but they feel they are part of the company. Wow. So those are aspects you look at. And then lastly, you look at the effort. What effort is an employee putting into your company? Can he go beyond his borders, his limits, for the sake of his work? All right. Even if it's raining and he doesn't drive a car, can he walk in the rain with an umbrella and
get to work on time?
When he's sick and at hospital, can he
continue to deliver?
Continue to deliver through phone calls, or even remotely. What effort does an employee put into the company? So those are all things that you have to consider, so that now you understand the whole system, and you see how you transition or you transform an organization. So from my experience, it's a process, it's a journey, and you cannot walk it alone as a CEO or as a head of an organization. You need the people, and if you work with the people, the bad fruits will fall off along the way. By the time you get to where you want to go,
it will be too late.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Agoro. We've already done the handover. This is the new CEO of Uvumbi Communications. As we wind up, as we close this show, what is your vision for Uvumbi Communications from this moment and time forward?
My vision for Uvumbi Communications right now is taking it a notch higher, one step at a time. Getting the resources that are needed, getting the staff that are needed, not necessarily competent, but I'll use the dice scenario. Some people can be good on the job and they learn on the job. We want to walk this journey as a team. We're looking for the most committed, the most integral, and the people who can put their effort into this company to make it the next big thing.
Thank you so much. This has been the Fortis Lounge. Don't forget to subscribe to Uvumbi Radio on YouTube. Facebook, again, it's Uvumbi Radio and Uvumbi on Twitter, and listening to the great things that are coming on www.uvumbiradio.co.ke. Until next time, adios.
Thank you very much, Mr. Danny Boy.